afternoon and welcome to RMU Live. Today is Monday, April 12th, 2021. I'm Austin Bechtold.
And I'm Colby Sherwin. Here's what's happening now. Yesterday, the Pennsylvania Health Department reported just about 4,000 new COVID-19 cases, bringing the total number of cases to be just about 1 million statewide, and about 500,000 came from Allegheny County. They also reported 2 new deaths, which brings the total number of deaths to be just 25,000. 1 death came from Allegheny County.
Now, as of today, April 12th, Robert Morris University is reporting 17 students and 2 employees are in isolation, along with 27 students and 3 employees in quarantine due to COVID-19. People in isolation have tested positive for the coronavirus, while those in quarantine have either shown symptoms and are awaiting test results or have been exposed to someone with the virus. Since August 21st of 2020, RMU has reported 451 positive cases of COVID-19.
More Pennsylvania residents can now receive the COVID-19 vaccine as the state moves to Phase 1C of its vaccine rollout. Monday, it includes Phase 1C are essential workers in the following sectors: transportation and logistics, water and water waste, food service, housing, construction, media, public safety, public health workers. Those in phases 1A and 1B can still get their COVID-19 vaccine. Pennsylvanians 16 and older are now eligible to get theirs. RMU Student Life sent out an email on Friday, April 9th, locations on where students may receive their COVID-19 vaccine. The email said, quote, "We are writing to make you aware of some current and up-and-coming vaccination clinics in the Pittsburgh area that are open to the public," end quote. Locations are Castle Shannon, Ross Hill, District, McKeesport, and the Gallatin at Pittsburgh Mills.
The Berry Center has made available a prescription drug drop box for the RMU community to dispose expired and prescription drugs, thanks in part to the state's opioid prevention in higher education. All drugs must be disposed of in their original bottle or in a container similar to a Ziploc bag, with all personal information removed prior to disposing the items. They can be placed in the drop box, including over-the-counter medicine, prescription meds, patches, and ointments, as well as vitamins and pet medicines.
The RMU Counseling Center is pleased to introduce their newest member of their team, Ryan Brewer. Counselor in residence, Ryan received her master's degree in social work from Edinburgh University and has experience in both clinical care and crisis intervention. Prior to joining their team, Ryan was a suicide crisis worker for Mercer County Behavioral Health Commission, provided crisis support for Allegheny College, and has served in multiple OPIT mental health roles. Ryan is certified to teach mental health first and question suicide prevention and refer suicide prevention training. A supercomputer simulation has reproduced traumatic brain injury at a high level of detail and under more consideration than ever before. Identifying key factors in causing stem to brain tissue, the RMU-led study featuring Principal Investigation Ratika Carlson used the Bridge platform at the Pittsburgh Supercomputer Center, promising a better understanding of the TBI that may lead to better means of perfecting service members, athletes, and the general public.
A Robert Morris student represented the university at the 2nd annual Pitt, Ohio Sales Challenge. Senior marketing major, Madison Heinrich won the 1-day 2-round sales role play challenge against students from Dayton, Slippery Rock, West Virginia, and Old Dominion universities. Students acted virtually as sales representatives from Pitt, Ohio, to try to sell to McKesson Corporation, with Heinrich proving to be the best student of all representing schools. Robert Morris has announced a new partnership with the Pittsburgh Penguins. RMU becomes the official leadership development partner of the team, providing new opportunities to all levels of employees within the Penguins franchise. The Pens are also helping RMU students with a chance to learn from the team staff and much more. You can find more information about RMU's connection to the Penguins on the team's official website.
Speaking of the Penguins, let's send it over to Nathan Breisinger to talk about RMU sports. Nathan?
Thanks, Colby. As we close in on the end of the semester, just a handful of teams remain in play for Robert Morris Athletics. Over the weekend, the football team unknowingly completed their first season in the Big South Conference against Charleston Southern. After falling down by a score, the Colonials answered back in the second quarter as DeAndre Hicks would score on a 2-yard touchdown reception from George Martin. Hicks would also add another touchdown later in the contest. However, that would be all the noise made by RMU in this one, as the Buccaneers pulled away to win 27-14. As the football team began to prepare for their next matchup, they would soon learn that their season finale with Monmouth would be canceled due to limited student-athlete availability within the RMU program. The Colonials finished 0-3 in their abbreviated 2021 spring campaign. Now at Joe Walton Stadium, the men's and women's lacrosse teams both were in action this weekend. The women's team celebrated their senior day on Friday by absolutely dominating the Kent State Golden Flashes by a final score of 23-4. 8 different Colonials had multiple goals during the contest, including both Melanie and Mackenzie Gandy, who each had 3 tallies on the day. With the win, RMU is off to their best start in program history as they sit with a 9-2 overall record and an impressive 5-0 Mid-American Conference record. As for the men's lacrosse team, they were also victorious on their senior day with a record-setting performance. As they defeated Cleveland State 15-7, graduate senior Ryan Smith became the all-time leading scorer for the program. At the 14-11 mark of the second quarter, Smith registered his 196th career point to become the highest scorer in men's lacrosse history. With the win, RMU pulls to an even 5-5 record. The Robert Morris softball team was also in action at the North Athletic Complex as they split their weekend series with USC. On Friday, Madison Riggle hit an insurance solo home run to withstand the Flames for a split on day 1. As for game 1 on Saturday, Faith Miller drove in the winning run to walk it off. The softball team now moves to 13-9 in conference. Looking ahead, the RMU golf team will compete in the Mountaineer Invitational starting today and finishing play tomorrow. That is all I have for sports for now. Let's send it back over to the desk.
Thank you, Nate. A young man was shot dead early Monday morning in Brighton Heights just after 2 a.m. Police found the man inside of a doorway of a home near Terman Avenue with a gunshot wound to the chest. Police responded to reports of shots fired to 911 as paramedics pronounced the man dead upon arrival. Police are further investigating the cause of the shooting. A 19-year-old male was shot in McKeesport on Saturday night in the Harrison Village housing complex. Allegheny County Police said the shooting took place around 10:15 p.m. with the victim found shot in the chest. The man was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive the injuries. As homicide detectives begin to investigate what happened in the housing complex, with anyone having any information being asked, even they can remain anonymous, asked to please call the county police tip line at 1-833-ALL-TIPS. A Duquesne Light employee was injured Sunday morning after an underground explosion occurred from a manhole. The explosion occurred at the 2800 block of New Beaver Avenue just before 11:15 a.m. on Sunday as the man was working inside the manhole at the time of the blast. Duquesne Light said that the man was injured due to a cable failure and that there are no signs of live electrical contact. The man was taken to the hospital in stable condition with burns to his face.
Pittsburgh police are investigating a reported home invasion on Carrick that left 2 injured officers that responded to reports of a home invasion in the 1700 block of Plateau Street around 9 p.m. Saturday. Officers found 2 male victims who say they were assaulted by 2 other males. When they opened the doors, medics transported both victims to a local hospital with facial injuries. Police say this is an isolated incident. Westmoreland County 911 has confirmed that medical helicopters were called to 2 separate motorcycle accidents that were called within minutes of each other. One accident was a motorcycle vehicle collision on Route 66 just before the intersection of Route 365 around 5 p.m. Emergency crews and medical helicopters were called to the scene of a man who was reported unresponsive. 4 teenage girls ranging from ages 12 to 14 have been arrested on juvenile court charges of setting a fire that destroyed an unoccupied western Pennsylvania and sent a police officer and firefighter to the hospital. Police in Johnstown Borough of Ferndale say a 12-year-old from Richland School District and 2 14-year-olds from the Greater Johnstown School District and a 14-year-old from Federal Area School District face multiple charges of felony arson, as well as charging catastrophic trespassing and endangering another person. The girls became suspects after reportedly posting a Snapchat video showing themselves starting the fire. The photographs surfaced of the girls when they returned to the scene a short later to watch the fire.
Not good, Colby.
Not good at all.
Not good at all. We're going to send it now, though, outside for the final time, actually the second to last time so far here in the semester here on RMU Live, to John Blaine. As always this semester, John, what's the weather like outside? John, hope it's starting to warm up.
So thank you, Austin and Colby. And as you can see outside today, it's a little gray and we may be able to expect some rain, but let's look at those temperatures. The high today only reaching 57, which is a little bit of a change from the 80-degree temperatures that we have seen recently. That low reaching 46 degrees, starting to mirror those warmer temperatures of the winter. The humidity today is 66%, but it feels pretty chilly. The air doesn't seem that thick. And the chance of precipitation is just a coin toss, sitting at 50% there. But if you look around you outside here at the Robert Morris campus, I'm going to say that we're going to see some rain a little bit more today, and that's what the hourly forecast says as well. By 3 p.m. we're expecting some rain there, 58 degrees. 6 p.m. more rain, 55 degrees. And 9 p.m. that rain is still yet to disappear with 53 degrees there. Moving on to tomorrow's forecast, it's looking like that rain is going to clear up and we are going to see some warmer temperatures again, 68 degrees being the high there and 45 degrees being the low, but I doubt we'll reach that point. The humidity is only 45% and the chance of precipitation there, a nice low 10%. So if you're bummed out by the rain today, you can stay optimistic that we may see some nicer temperatures and nicer weather out tomorrow. We'll stay tuned to tell you what the rest of the week looks at this week.
Thank you, John. And we come back. More COVID vaccines are on the way.
And the world is reacting to the loss of Prince Philip, so make sure to stay here on RMU Live.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes.
Make a plan today.
Welcome back to RMU Live, and we have some breaking news. Governor Tom Wolf has announced that everybody 16 and older are now eligible for their COVID-19 vaccine. A 22-year-old black man was fatally shot and killed after police officers pulled him over in Minneapolis. Dante Wright was shot and killed on early Monday, according to his mother on a Facebook Live. She said, quote, "He called me about 1:40, she said. He said he was getting pulled over by the police. They pulled him over because he had an air freshener hanging from his rearview mirror," end quote. The city of Minneapolis was on edge due to the Derek Chauvin trial. A large crowd gathered Sunday night at the Brooklyn Center Police Department as armored police officers formed a riot line. A video posted to Twitter showed them gassing a chemical agent at the protesters. Heart disease and the use of fentanyl contributed to George Floyd's death. That's what Chief Medical Examiner said in court Friday as the testimony wrapped up for the second week of former Minneapolis Police Officer Derek Chauvin's trial. But the medical examiner says the police restraint is primary due to the reason Floyd died last May. Chauvin had pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and third-degree manslaughter. Charges Daryl Forges is questioned in the courtroom in Minneapolis with highlights from the trial.
He's one of the most anticipated witnesses in Derek Chauvin's trial.
You conducted the autopsy on Mr. George Floyd.
I did.
The Hennepin County Chief Medical Examiner says police interaction was the main cause of George Floyd's death.
The law enforcement subdual restraint and the neck compression was just more than Mr. Floyd could take.
Forensic pathologist Dr. Lindsay Thomas agrees.
There's no evidence to suggest he would have died that night, except for the interactions with law enforcement.
The testimony comes as the state nears the end of his case against Chauvin. Prosecutors argued the former police officer violated policy and used excessive force on Floyd. But Chauvin's defense points to drugs and a heart condition as reasons for Floyd's death.
And so in your opinion, both the heart disease as well as the history of hypertension and the drugs that were in his system played a role in Mr. Floyd's death?
In my opinion, yes.
Still, Dr. Baker stands by what he originally wrote on Floyd's death certificate.
Yes, I would still classify it as a homicide today.
Chauvin has pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. Testimony is expected to resume Monday. In Minneapolis, I'm Daryl Forges.
A quick correction on that breaking news. It is everyone is eligible tomorrow, not today. Data from the U.S. Census Bureau shows a drop in approximately 7,000 black residents from 2014 to 2018. Pittsburgh City Council member Ricky Burgess points to a generation in areas like Lawrenceville and East Liberty. Also, years of diversement in black communities. Representative Ed Gainey said, quote, "We know the impact of gratification, what it has done to the community," end quote.
With vaccinations being made available to more people starting today with the 1C phase, more people will be trying to look to get ways to get the vaccine. But due to a limited number of distributions, a limited number of Johnson & Johnson vaccines will be distributed this week, as Allegheny Health Network delivered 13,000 doses of the one-shot vaccine over the weekend. UMC is having a vaccination clinic at Pittsburgh Mills this week, with more doses becoming available. You register online or by calling 833-676-1995 to be able to enter the UPMC clinic.
A man who was thrown out of a bar after allegedly harassed another patron for wearing a face mask and acted aggressively towards others later tried to get back while armed with a gun, but was stopped by another patron. Authorities said Mark Reno, 56, of Newcastle, was being held on $260,000 bail after his Thursday altercation on a felony county of aggravated assault and several other misdemeanor counts, including reckless endangerment and making terroristic threats. It wasn't known Friday if he was retained, as he retained an attorney. Record number of Pennsylvanians are buying guns this year, and with that, so is the demand for license to carry permits. The Allegheny County Sheriff's County Office teamed up with the Monroeville Police Department for a state line license to carry event. According to the state police instant check system, which is used to check someone's legal status to get a license or a firearm, more than 420,000 background checks were conducted in the first 3 months of this year.
A Penn Hills business was shut down last week by the Allegheny County Health Department. IGH 412 Smoked Meats on Pinewood Square was closed by the health department due to operating without a valid health permit. The business was also listed as having food safety violations, including receiving food from an unapproved source and also not monitoring and maintaining proper food temperatures. The health department's website will be updated when the closure orders are lifted.
Britain's Prince Philip has died. The 99-year-old was the husband of Queen Elizabeth and father to Prince Charles, Princess Anne, Prince Andrew, and Prince Edward. Nadia Romero has more on his life.
The Duke of Edinburgh was born as the Prince of Greece and Denmark in 1921. His family fled to Paris when he was an infant after they were overthrown from power. 8 years later, Philip was sent to England to be raised by his grandmother and uncle. He served in the British Royal Navy from 1939 to 1953 and fought in World War II. The Queen and Prince Philip met before the Second World War when he was a young naval cadet. The couple married in 1947.
I was always struck by how much he was committed to supporting the Queen on every occasion, whether it was a happy one or a more difficult task with members of the family or sad occasion. But he was always there.
During his time with the Royal Air Force, he logged almost 6,000 flight hours in 59 different types of aircraft over 4 decades. Famous for his energy, the Duke's health inevitably deteriorated as he headed into old age. In the summer of 2017, Prince Philip effectively announced his retirement, saying he would give up official royal duties. Prince Philip was the oldest serving royal consort. He was known for his love of painting, horses, flying, sailing, and environmental conservation. Prince Philip, serviceman, campaigner, great-grandfather, and a beloved husband. I'm Nadia Romero reporting.
Thank you, Nadia. Buckingham Palace has not announced the cause of Prince Philip's death. He would have turned 100 years old on June 10th. Rest in peace to Prince Philip. Now we're going to send it over Nathan Breisinger. Tell us what's going on later on in the show.
Coming up after break, I'll be back here in the sports studio to talk about all things Pittsburgh sports. Stay tuned here on RMU Live.
Over. Chance high five. All right. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? I'm high. Oh.
Stem is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Legendary Pittsburgh Pirates usher Phil Coyne passed away Friday morning at the age of 102. Coyne was witness to some of the most impactful players and moments in Major League Baseball history, including Babe Ruth's final 3 home runs of his career at Forbes Field. While he was working at Forbes Field, Three River Stadium, and PNC Park, Coyne's career was storybook and was a total of 81 years over a span of also 6,000 career games. A plaque is mounted between sections 26 and 27 in PNC Park to honor Phil Coyne, one of the most legendary people ever in Pirates organization history. But it's been a busy couple of days in Pittsburgh sports with the Penguins and the Pirates in action, and also with the Penguins taking down New Jersey and lots of other things going on. We're going to send it over to Nathan Breisinger to give us a little bit of a recap on what was going on with the Penguins and also the Pirates. Nate?
Like you said, Austin, the Penguins were in New Jersey, and they took down the Devils 5-2. Jake Gensel had a hat trick in that one. But later that evening, General Manager Ron Hextall was busy at work making a late-night edition. After rumblings of Nick Delorier's trade with Anaheim earlier in the day, the Pens stayed on the West Coast to add veteran Jeff Carter from the Los Angeles Kings. In the deal, the Pens gave up 2 conditional picks over the next 2 years. Carter brings in plenty of playoff experience as he captured 2 Stanley Cup rings during his time in LA. Although he is having his worst statistical season, Carter has great size and is a versatile player as he can either slot in at center or on the right wing. With the trade deadline officially closing at 3 p.m., eyes remain on the Pens to see if they add another piece. In other Pittsburgh sports news, the Pittsburgh Pirates returned to PNC Park for their home opener on Thursday with fans in the stands. The Bucks fell in their home opener, but have since defeated the Chicago Cubs twice to take the first home series of the season. The Pirates bats woke up on Saturday, scoring 8 runs as Brian Reynolds, Colin Moran, and Eric Gonzalez all drove in 2 runs. On Sunday, the Bucks put up a 7th spot on the Cubbies as starting pitcher JT Brubaker took charge, driving in 3 runs, while only allowing 4 hits and 1 earned run on the mound. The Bucks moved to 3-6 with an impending series with the San Diego Padres and former Pirate Joe Musgrove, who tossed the Padres' first no-hitter in team history. Heading back to the ice, while the Pens were in the East Coast, the NCAA took over PPG Paints Arena as they hosted the 2021 Frozen Four. In the semifinals, St. Cloud State took down rivals Minnesota State with a late goal in the 3rd period to lift the Huskies to the championship game. Later that evening, Massachusetts avenged their 2019 national championship game loss to Minnesota Duluth with a 3-2 overtime victory. In the championship game on Saturday, UMass continued their dominant play as they controlled all 3 periods against the Huskies. With the 5-0 win, UMass captured their first NCAA title in program history. It has truly been a busy week in the Steel City with sports, but that's all I have for now. Let's send it back over to the desk.
It sure has been a busy day in Pittsburgh sports, Colby. And, you know, we're also going to see Joe Musgrove coming back and being able to play this week coming up. And we're going to toss it to John Blinn to tell us more about it after the break, about the weather outside and if Joe Musgrove's going to have some good weather when he returns to PNC Park. So we'll be back with John Blinn right after the break here on RMU Live.
Over. Chance high five. All right. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Stand is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Let's send it over to John Blinn, who's outside to give us the weather.
Thank you again, Austin and Colby. And as we mentioned earlier, despite the gray skies that we're seeing today, things are looking a little bit clearer tomorrow. Just to reiterate that, 68 degrees as the high, 45 degrees as the low, and chance of precipitation only 10% there. Moving on to Wednesday, you're going to see the sun peeking out behind some clouds. That 60-degree temperatures are going to continue on Wednesday. 65 is that high, but the rain may return on Thursday. 49 degrees. It's going to chill down a little bit compared to what we see on Wednesday. 40 degrees is the low there. Friday, we're sitting in limbo as there is no rain, but also no sun. 59 degrees as the high, not quite hitting those 60-degree temperatures that we're aiming for earlier on in this week. However, those will resurface on Saturday as the sun starts to come back out. 62 degrees is the high there, 44 degrees is the low. And on Sunday, we're going to get a little bit of a mix, a little bit of a hybrid there as we do see the rain again, but it's going to be nice and warm, 62 degrees, starting to feel those spring temperatures coming out. And you know what they say, April showers bring May flowers. Hopefully we'll see that in the next month. And I hope you enjoyed RMU Live this semester. I've enjoyed doing weather with you. We'll see you next week or next time on RMU Live.
Thank you, John. I think it was a little windy today, Austin.
It looked windy, Colby. John Blend's papers were flying everywhere. You could tell he was pretty happy that it was the last show, but he did a great job this semester. And for John Blend, Nathan Breisinger, and also Colby Sherwin, I'm Austin Bechtold. Thank you so much for watching us all semester long on RMU Live. We greatly appreciate it. Have a great and safe summer.